call this meeting to order. Shelby County Supervisors is February 20th. Any conflict of interest, guys, on the agenda today?
None.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Had a chance to look over the minutes from February 6th. Any changes or updates on that, Mark?
None.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the February 6th minutes as presented?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Had a chance to look over the claims?
Yep.
A few of them there. No issues?
No.
Okay, motion to approve the claims as presented?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Elected official salaries for 2025. I know it's something we publish every year. Mark, you got any comments on that?
This is elected officials for the
Okay,
compensation board.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yep.
okay, I got ahead of myself.
You would-
Excuse me. Yep. Elected
Right up
official
here,
salaries,
right in the hot seat.
recommendation. Morning, Van, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good.
So, you want to give us a little summary of the meeting and when that was?
We met in November, I don't remember, 30th,
Compensation board?
the compensation board. I believe Frank Powers was elected as chairperson of that board. It was motioned by Jim Zimmerman and second by Gage Lytle to recommend to the Board of Supervisors a 1% in wage for the fiscal year 2025 for the sheriff, as well as a 4% increase for the supervisors. The wages of the treasurer, recorder, and auditor, when we were compared to other counties throughout the state, have fallen grossly behind wages of other like-sized populations in other counties in Iowa. So a one-time amount, we can't make it all up in 1 year, so we determined that we would start with a one-time increase of $2,000 in wages for the recorder, the auditor, and the treasurer, after a 4% increase in wages for those three officers above the fiscal year's wages. Then the vote was held with unanimous approval in favor of the motion, and the percentage will be applied first, and then the $2,000 would be added. So the percentage would not include that $2,000.
Right. And a couple other things, they also approved the longevity for the year. That's something we has to come through the compensation board. And then I see they also approved a $1,500 stipend for the supervisor chair, which has been, I think, $750.
Yeah, we doubled that.
Okay, so that was approved also. Did I miss anything? Those are the three things.
Was there any recommendation with regard to the county attorney?
The county attorney was the same.
We had
Actually,
4%.
yeah, sorry, I left that out of there. So it should have been recorder, auditor, treasurer, and county attorney.
Okay.
Sorry.
Really, to
about that,
simplify it, everybody getting a
Except the sheriff.
4%, except for the sheriff with a 1. And I was there, I think the conversation for the 1 was because I felt he was caught up from the back of blue from the last 3 years, correct?
Yeah, yes.
And then the 2,000 for the recorder, auditor, treasurer. I don't know, it's been quite a few years. I know they've been trying to get those 3 positions caught up. The board, we haven't gone there. We need to, guys. We need to go there. Start, because they just keep falling further and further behind. And I appreciate the board, the compensation board, coming in realistically, because this next year we're looking at 4%, a 3 and a 1 for our regular employees, our union, so that's the same. So it's really the same across the county. And I don't know if some of you, the supervisors here, have seen, oh my God, some of the counties, the compensation boards from, I've seen 20, 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, Marcus, you're included in that.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Just thought I'd better ask.
Does anybody got else
Now's the
they want to
time.
add to that? Do you have anything else, Nathan?
Nope.
Do I have a motion to approve the conference board's recommendation?
Make a motion.
Motion by Bryce.
I'll second it.
Second. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, motion carried. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
County Library funding presentation. Amanda, good morning.
Excuse me.
Come on up here.
Do you want another drink? Or you, one at a time? I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
You just go ahead.
You want me to move over? Amanda Brewer from the Harlan Public Library.
Yep.
You're a new face.
Fresh shaven.
Okay, Bryce.
My wife's in there all the time, so.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
Good thing.
That's what I like to hear. Just gonna give you guys a brief update of some of the numbers that we've seen over this last year in the library. We did start a new program last year, STEAM. Most of you guys know it as STEM, but this also includes art. So we have, it's for kids 8 and over, and it's every Monday after school. We've had over 100 kids participate in the program since it started. We're running at max capacity, over, I would say, in that 35 range for quite a while. We've dropped down a little bit into the 20s, which is a little bit more comfortable. We do have 2 to 3 different volunteers who come in because it's a rowdy group, but it's a good opportunity for our kids to learn about that. I think it's great for our employers because these kids are going to be growing up in this community, and there's jobs out there that are going to, you got to get them interested young. Library usage itself. It's kind of been bananas, I guess. That's the best way I can say. We've had an average increase of 30% in our foot traffic, our checkouts, and actually our technology usage has been more in like the 42% over this last fiscal year. Unfortunately, I cannot say that we have 33% more staff, or our budget's gone up 33%. So it's been a challenge. The biggest usage we see grow is our digital audiobook usage. So in 2022 we were at about 6,000, and this last year we were over 8,600. So that's a huge piece, and I know that the Iowa Library Association is trying to work and get some bills out there to try to help libraries, because publishers in the digital world, they've really gone crazy. So a book that might cost us $30 to purchase a paper version, they won't even give you a lifetime use version of digital. You might get it for 2 years and be paying upwards of $120 for it. So there is legislation to try to get some of those publishers out there to play nice with libraries, but it's going to take us a while. We were really excited this last year for our outreach program to grow. We added a book bike. We were able to do that through our foundation and then through some of our general revenue. It gives us an opportunity to be more visual in the community, and we're going to be taking out books in it to lower income places in the community and giving books to children, because we know that kids in this community don't even have books at home. So that's kind of our goal, is we get a lot of donated books and to put those in the hands of the kids who need them. Also be working and doing the same thing. We went out to the fair last year and gave away books. We get a lot of books donated, so just trying to get those in people's hands who need them. We continue to work on the exterior renovations. Our foundation gave us about $17,000 in order to hire Snyder and Associates to work on we need new concrete and some new signage and some different things on the outside of the library. It's very vibrant on the inside of the library, and so we've identified that we want something a little bit more welcoming on the outside. So we will be doing a capital campaign here coming up, but everything takes time, so it's something that we continue to work on. We had some great opportunities over the last year. We were able to bring in an author. His name was Bruce Arendt through the Humanities Iowa Grant, and he was able to do workshops for adults and kids on illustrating and writing and publishing. And then we did welcome a new adult services librarian this last year, and so she's young and has lots of new ideas and lots of energy. So she's been doing things like cooking programs that we hadn't done before. She's doing trivia night at the lounge tomorrow night to really expose the library to a new group of people, because the library is not just books. We are books, we are technology, we're resources. We do a lot for the employers in our community by helping their employees apply for jobs and do copies for their legal documents and things like that. So the library continues to be essential service in Shelby County, and we're just one part of it. We have 2 other great libraries here as well. So, any questions about Harlan, this library?
You're on top of it.
I don't know about that, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm swimming very briskly, so I will turn it over to Paulette, and she'll
Okay.
let you know
Thank
about
you. Appreciate you coming
Elkhorn.
today.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to talk to you about Supervisors.
Paulette, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It seems like I've seen you guys a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's all right. Okay, so first off, I had contacted the Irwin Library about our meeting today, and Jean Borscher said that she had sent you information about the library, but then she sent it to me and asked if I would share it with you again, just so it was all with the
Yep.
other 2 libraries. So I had worked with them on some programming in the last couple of years, and so we've had a chance to get to know each other. They are really working hard to make that library
Yes, they do.
a really great, they have great community support, and they're really trying to make it really very successful. So, and I think they're doing that. Okay, so then the Elkhorn Library. So I just started in May, and so this is my update. And we've
Lady
got...
in many hats. I didn't know you were there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's kind of one of those,
Good fit for you, right?
really, oh gosh, it has been. It has been, because I still get to teach. That teaching is still very desirable for me. So I still get to teach, still get to work with the full range of ages, which is always fun. But I don't have to be there till 12:30, so. So then I get to go help sort cattle and, all those
Sure.
fun things in the morning, but that's all right too. So I just have a lot of updates here about what we're doing. We have a really strong school program for all ages. I do the one on Wednesdays. Our children's programming does it on Mondays. And then Tuesday morning, she actually goes to the daycare. Tuesday afternoon, we have a volunteer that comes in. She's a retired teacher that just got on our board. And she said, what I miss most about teaching was reading to my students. Well, let's see what we can do about that. And so she's only done it a couple of times, but the second time was one of those heartbreak moments, because she read her book, and then she read a couple more books. And the one book she read was titled Paulette, because she's also Paulette, so yeah, the kids love that. And so that was great. Well, then the kids started bringing her books, and she read 12 books that day.
Well,
The kids just sat there glued to her, and she left,
Yeah.
she wasn't walking on ground. She was back to being that teacher again. So we do a wide range of things for all ages. Our murder mystery was kind of fun because we had an adult one, and then we used the same one for our teens, and we got kids from all over, Shelby and Audubon County. So, and actually a couple for Cass County. So that was really fun. Our numbers are really good. Elkhorn is one of those communities where they support their support their programming. They are really great. So we have great participation and lots of fun. And right now we are super into puzzles because we decided to have we started to have each month, and January was puzzle month, and now we have, as you can see by my one picture here,
Yep, I see
this was
that.
a 3,000 piece puzzle that these ladies worked on. It took them 60 hours to make that puzzle. And they loved every minute of it. They sit there and they're young moms and they're just talking about life. And they just relax as they're sitting there.
Takes
And then
a lot
their
of
children,
patience.
yeah, and then their children are playing out into the children's area. So we did just get done, I think, with our 28E agreement with the city of Kimballton. When I started and filled out the first annual report, we were $500 less from the state. And it was because Kimballton did not have a recognized library. So then their patrons could not count in our numbers. They couldn't count for anybody. So we started that process, and we thought we had it all completed, and then when it went to their Board of Supervisors, then the Board of Supervisors wanted to change it. So now we're at a different process, you know, we're still in that process to complete it, but, so
Is this an updated one, or they never had one before?
they never had one before.
And they're,
They never had them before. It was, you know, and when I went to present the 2080 agreement, the initial 2080 agreement to them, they kind of knew they were not in agreement with the state, that they needed to have some kind of a library agreement,
Yeah,
but they just hadn't figured out
Left it
how
go.
to get it done yet, yeah.
okay.
And then in the meantime, since we did the first one, they've also had a change in their city clerk and a change in their mayor, so
Sure.
that's added to the process. But
Okay.
we are in the process of getting that completed.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some great organizations that we work with in our partnerships. And as part of our marketing, it's the funniest thing. I started this in December. I'll just pass it around. And I didn't have it ready right away in January, and they wanted to know where the bookmarks were. So
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing, yeah.
They
So
missed it.
they just had gotten used to that we have this at the front desk, and
That's a good
and
idea.
They
Yeah.
talk about, because on the front side, well, on one side we have children's and the other side we have adult. So, and then, of course, we add things as we go, but then we update for the next month around, so.
Okay.
So yeah, we're having lots of fun, and I went and had to send we do the Iowa shares. So,
It looks familiar.
yes, it does. So I gotten one through Iowa Shares for a patron that wanted it. And then I just went to the museum just the other day and went, okay, now I don't have to share it anymore. I can just have one in
If you
our,
need any more, let me know.
okay. Because I was going to ask you, and
Yep.
then I was able to get one at the
Yep.
museum, so
Yep.
that was good. So, yeah. So thank you so much for everything you do for us. We appreciate it.
thank you.
And
Thank
if there's
you.
any programming that you're looking for, you know, we're always willing to help out in any way we can. So,
Okay.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Environmental health report, Luke. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Luke.
Don't have a lot for you guys this morning, but just some updates. Passports have been very busy here this last couple months.
How long does that take now?
Right now, routine, they're 6 to 8 weeks, and expedited is 2 to 3. So they have bumped their times up
Okay.
substantially since about 3-4 months ago. So a lot of people traveling, except for the guy doing the passports. So, but other than that, the grants to county that we have down there for well water and all that stuff, we get $50,500 per fiscal year. And after the second quarter claims, the state will kind of compile everything and do a reallocation. And I had mentioned something to Mindy and some of the higher ups with the state that we would be,
Yeah, we use it here.
we use it, yes. And so we were one of 5 counties in Iowa that is potentially gonna get another $50,000.
Another 50?
Yeah.
That's
Wow,
good.
for you.
So,
good.
yeah. And it's, I mean,
How
we
soon?
should know, I'd say the beginning of March somewhere.
Okay, so
in
when
there.
spring activity starts again, we'll have that one.
Well, it's starting already.
Yeah, I was just
So,
wondering.
yeah.
Okay.
But, so we should know a little more on that. Hopefully we get that full 50. Like I said, they kind of divvy it up between all the counties, and some of the counties that don't use the money, that's where we're getting it from, so.
So is that for well rehab and plugging?
It's plugging, well rehabs, shock chlorination, and well assessments on there. And then we also use that money for doing water samples, so we can keep water samples free
Right.
for everybody in the county. So,
It's a great program, great program.
Yes, it
People are
is.
using it too.
yep. Being the weather has been nice, unseasonable for February, we actually got septics going in already. So, kind of dug through some records past years, and this is about the earliest we've ever had them going in the county. So, and we've been doing a few time of transfers also since the ground hasn't been frozen. So, a lot of new sewers to go in yet. A lot of perk tests coming up here in the next month or so. So it's kind of different year.
So are they, as a people, just curious, updating their sewer system, or is a lot of it new homes, new places, or both?
New homes, a lot of it is, time of transfers were done during the winter.
Okay.
They couldn't get it in,
Updates.
so, needed to update the sewer, and so they're waiting until spring, which come a little bit sooner this year, so,
So far.
so far, yeah.
Rule it out
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just getting to be busy season early this year, so.
Does Jan still help you when you need help?
Yep,
Okay.
she still comes in, and, she's got a lot of knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Especially all the years she's been.
And she can run the equipment too.
Yeah, she can run the backhoe and
Okay,
everything,
I just
so.
didn't know for sure if she was still willing to help you.
Oh, yeah, she
Good.
enjoys it, so,
Good,
but yeah.
okay.
Any questions?
No, appreciate
Good job.
appreciate what you do.
Doing a
You-
good job.
You've caught on, yeah, very, very quick, and we're glad you're part of the team here.
You betcha. Well, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Luke.
Luke.
Okay, next on the agenda, auditors report, including election official wage changes. Mark?
As far as an auditor's report, the bus pipes down at the annex are all fixed, and there's no moisture in the walls. It dried up right away, and the work is starting today down
Awesome.
there.
Good.
And they thought they might get it tore down, take pictures, look for damage that's maybe behind the drywall, and then
Maybe
see what they can
just for
do.
people watching, what caused the pipes to break?
The snowstorm that we had blew over the parapet up on top of on the roof. And there's 3 furnaces at the annex building. And the end of the building, there's nobody in that end of the building. And it plugged one of the vents on the furnace. And the furnace, for safety features, shut down. And unbeknownst to anybody, because the furnace is kept up in the other parts of the building, the pipes froze in the furnace room.
During that real cold time.
During the cold snap after. And about 16,000 gallons worth of water.
Wow.
Is what it was higher than the month before. So it was a lot of water. And we got on it right away. I got a carpet guy down there, and he sucked up all the water that very same evening. And we got on top of it, shut all the water off, and got fans going. And that night, so everything was taken care of in a hurry. It didn't have a chance to soak up the walls into the drywall and everything, and the adjuster was out. They did their thing, and they said, I don't think you have any drywall damage except for where the water was
Like where
spraying
it
on
was,
the
that
wall.
wall.
Yep,
So we're gonna get that fixed and.
Yep, so we're
Insulation.
getting that fixed up. And there's other little things that happen in the courthouse with building and grounds that are just part of the business that really don't need to be mentioned, they're just small things. The air conditioning in the courthouse, they're still expecting it to be delivered in March, and what delivered means, I have no idea. Whether they're gonna put it on their trailer, bring it here, I have no idea what that means, I haven't asked
Then
yet.
would installation be shortly after that? or-
April/May,
Okay,
and so we.
before it gets,
Yeah,
hopefully before it gets hot.
And this time, this year, we might need it in April, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Where's this coming from?
Carol.
the bid was Carol.
The bid
yeah,
was
they were-
Carol.
They were the low bid.
Yep. And election, of course, it's a busy election year. We'll have our primary in June, first Tuesday in June after the first Monday, and then, of course, the general election, the big general election this fall. And we're gearing up for that. And on that note, precinct election officials, it hasn't been, I think it's 6 years since they've had an increase. All the PEOs, precinct election officials, in their wages. And they were at $10 an hour. And I'm asking the supervisors to approve a $12 an hour. And the chairpersons and co-chairpersons, when there is one, would go up to $14 an hour. And with all the added things and changes, constant changes with elections, just showing our thanks. And I gave you guys the numbers, I don't have them with me, but it's gonna cost like
I know, it's
$2,000.
not,
It's nothing.
should have been adjusted a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So thanks for bringing that to our attention.
And then election night runners, if anybody's listening while they're watching this, and I'll put it in the notes too, it takes a Democrat and a Republican at these elections this year. So you need a Democrat and a Republican to go to Irwin, and to all the election locations. So it takes about 10 people. It's got to be a Democrat and a Republican. Well, during like city schools, you can get a husband and wife, and they're usually in the same party, and you can get them to run back and forth. So we need people to run back and forth, and hopefully we get so many that we can have to turn people down.
Is this a new change or has it always been?
It's always been this way, and it's just turned, and it was $30 plus mileage, and we were having trouble and begging people to get them to do it.
Right.
And I'm just, would propose to raise it up to $60 plus mileage to make it worth their time in the evening to be gone from, you have to be at the polling place when they close, about 8 o'clock, and whenever they're done doing their thing, it could be 9. If they have problems, it could be 9:30.
Right.
And you get back to the courthouse because we have to have everything done by 10:30. So there is a tight window there that we'd like to have everybody back. But instead of giving them an hourly wage, a flat fee works a lot better, and other counties are doing the same thing.
And you have this in your budget?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I can remember sitting here until midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's only happened twice. In 7 years, it's only happened twice after midnight.
Anything else, Mark?
No, not really. Everything's going great in our office. The added employees put so much more. When you go from 60-some employees to 80-some employees in a year, it's very difficult. It makes there's that big of an increase in, and I tell all my help, it's always customer service when it comes to employees. That's what we're there for. You hate to be the HR, call yourself the HR department, but you're kind of forced into it in the auditor's department. And it's been tough because there's a lot of questions, a lot of inexperience, and
Yeah.
just guiding them through the process and making things
Right.
go honestly and the way they should go.
With the
And
addition
instructing people.
with the addition of the Harlan Police Department and our EMS.
Yeah, and EMS.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get 10, 12, or whatever we got,
Right.
about 20 employees.
Right. Additional.
Yes.
Yep. And I appreciate what you do.
Yep. But, yeah, resolution 2024-16, $12 an hour for PEOs, chairpersons and co-chairpersons, $14 an hour, and election night runners, $60 per election, plus mileage.
Do I have a motion to approve that resolution for the election official pay?
Motion.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. You guys have any other questions? Mark? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark.
Next on the agenda is Supervisor Office Expense Resolution 2024-17. Mark, do you have that? I did not bring mine
Yes,
along.
I do, and it's well deserved. The supervisor's position, since I've been here, has become a lot more involved. I will read the resolution, and so you've got your cell phone, people have your cell phone number, people have your home phone number, you're doing stuff, emails on the internet, you're printing things, and all those expenses add up. And Shelby County does not have offices. I mean, we could, I suppose, but then they'd have to drive in here, and that's not real efficient. And for cost savings, and to be fair, I think this is a great resolution. I really do. Rather than providing an office, and yeah, it'd just make a mess of things with all the meetings they have to go to. And I'll read the resolution. It's a resolution to permit home working reimbursements for the Shelby County Supervisors. Whereas the Shelby County Supervisors are elected officials and mandated by Iowa Code to fulfill their duties as county supervisors. Whereas evolving technology allows for home office and cell phone use to fulfill the duties of county supervisor. Whereas county supervisors are currently reimbursed for travel expenses and mileage reimbursements from the county for completing their obligations. Whereas county supervisors have added personal expenses with cell phones, home office expenses including computers, internet connections, and home office supplies that Shelby County does not provide. Currently, no reimbursement program exists for home office work in Shelby County. Therefore, be it resolved by the Shelby County Board of Supervisors, they declare that with receipts presented to the county auditor's office by the county supervisors for home office supplies, internet connections, cell phone billings may be reimbursed up to $100 a month from this general fund if receipts for those expenses are submitted to the Shelby County auditor's office within 60 days of the dated expense.
Okay, and we budgeted for that this past year. We didn't use it until the first of the year, and we realized a lot of the counties around, like Mark said, supply the supervisor an office, a laptop, computer supplies, and we've never done that here. I think the $100 maximum that we're putting on it is not out of line. We're the only department in the whole county that we've had to do that expense on our own.
We're getting by pretty cheap with this resolution.
And we appreciate, being able to do at least that, so, and working in our budget. So, you guys have anything else to add? Okay, do I have a motion to approve Supervisor Office Expense Resolution 2024-17?
Motion?
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thanks, Mark, putting that together. Just makes it a lot more transparent. Supervisors report. You guys have anything?
A lot. Conservation Board's working on ash trees, of course. Lots of them in the parks, and doing some updates in the nature center. For judicial, we had a committee meeting. We're not a board anymore. We're an advisory committee. So we had one of those last week, and everything's going well there. Juvenile, working on budget. Yeah, tomorrow's meeting. So.
I was supposed to have a map meeting last Wednesday, but we had the assessors meeting, so I didn't make it tonight.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
That's all I got now.
I guess I'm gonna speak a little bit, got some good and bad news, I would say. You guys, on the pipeline, been asking for 2 years, or the board's been asking for 2 years to see flume modeling from Summit as far as what the dispersion modeling is. Alex was there last night. As Alex could say, japers. I don't like the way this all goes. The reason I say that is because they only allowed one supervisor to attend this meeting. I asked them the question why all three of us can go. Well, there's these secrecies, but yet supervisors can go to meetings of education that there's no action. Doesn't have to be, the quorum thing, but they didn't do that. And so I asked to record it so my other two guys can watch the meeting and see what the questions are, and nope, couldn't do that. Can't take no pictures, can't video. Just because we're going over the flume modeling, and I'm not gonna get in a whole night because Alex could tell I was very frustrated when I left there. And I actually didn't sleep very well last night after some of the information they put out. Not that it's bad, but the way they portrayed it. And when you go and sit at the IUB hearings, I was up there for 8 weeks, not every day, and you see the worst case scenarios of what happens in a couple places around the nation, and they testified up there. And then you have these people trying to tell you the worst case scenario is a third the distance that it goes out from what was said under testimony on the witness stand and in direct testimony. Somebody's not telling the truth here, guys. And I have a huge problem with that. And then Alex was there, Chad Butler was there, for hazmat, and Roger Beeson was there for emergency response. And this meeting was to start educating our emergency responders how we address a rupture, a worst case scenario. Well, what I saw last night was the best case scenario, because the two worst case scenarios that I got to watch on the witness stand and happened in Satartia, Mississippi, both of those events, the valves froze in an open position and the CO2 ran out for 4 or 5 hours. The worst case scenario they showed us last night is the valve closes in 30 seconds. Well, that's standard. And we focused in on Erling because that's the closest town there too. It's a high consequential area. And it's just like, this is ridiculous why it's so close, and we've been asking them for 2 years to move it. And that's a whole nother story, but the guys asked some great questions, and I hope they continue to do that. Don't get any answers. The things that stuck out to me is one of the questions was, what's your protocol going to be? Because it's a known fact out there, these valves can freeze or get stuck in the open position when it comes time to shut them. What's your protocol for exercising them? So hopefully it minimizes that risk. They don't have one. They're going to get back to us, right? It's just like, and the one that really stuck out with me was when we were looking around Erling, and they show this worst case scenario, which is a third of the distance, because I can't say, it's a third of the distance, I will tell you that, from what was brought under direct testimony up in South Dakota for an 8-inch line, same as Erling. That danger zone was 3 times that. Again, who's telling the truth here? When they gave that worst case scenario around Erling, my question was, okay, when the valve's shut, how long does it take if it's 6 miles, 7 miles away, or 15? They can go up to 20. How long is it going to take for all that to come out for that flume and disperse. They couldn't tell us that. That should have been part of the equation. Can you see my frustration?
Absolutely. I think just from my standpoint is from
Why don't you
emergency.
come up here?
Yeah, sure. So, and I know Steve had brought up some good points at the meeting from last night, and you know, seeing the figures and numbers that they had presented. I think my having thinking about it last night, I think what I want to do is look at. There's a lot of, and we talked about last night, a lot of free software that you can get plume modeling. The only downside with that is you can do a pretty standard pipeline, but you can't do high pressure pipelines with that.
I know.
Because it's not designed for that. So I'm gonna look into kind of what the cost is on some of these other programs and just see if that's something, because not saying that I don't trust Carbon Solutions or the numbers that Steve gets, but I want to know and kind of have an independent study of what exactly is it's going to be. Because if it's the safety of the public, I want the Shelby County to do the study, and
Right.
or somebody that we hire to do the study. I want us to have the answers and not rely on somebody else to give us the information.
I agree with that.
And
Plus, I know it was stated up with Jack Willingham testified from Satartia, Mississippi. He was the EMA director when that accident happened in 2020. He came up here and testified, and I advise everybody, anybody that's interested, you can go online on YouTube, put in his name and testimony to Iowa Utility Board. It's 38 minutes long. I've watched it several times, and I was there when he testified. It's a oh my God moment. And the one thing that sticks out to me the most that he said, he's very blunt individual. And when the Iowa Utility Board and the attorneys all got done with him, the chair of the Iowa Utility Board asked him at the very end, "Do you have anything else you'd like to say?" He said, "Yes, I do." And he looked right at the Summit board, our Summit executives and their attorneys, and he said, "You need to start being honest with the public. These are very dangerous pipelines, and quit BSing them." And that's went through my mind a lot last night, because they want to talk about how they want to keep comparing it to, well, you have natural gas lines in your county, and well, they've been proven for years, and they're this big, and we pay, it serves a purpose, we pay to have that pumped in our homes. How many people in here have CO2 pumped in their homes? None of them do either. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
And when you hear those worst case scenarios, and they didn't even ring up, not the valves being shut, did they, last night? Because that's where it causes most of these problems.
right, and yeah, because when you release it at that critical when it's going at 24
Right.
pounds per
For
square inch,
hours.
yeah, right, and it freezes, and it goes out that fast, and then it freezes the pipes and the valves, and that's all stuff that can happen. You have to plan for that, or you have
Exactly.
to look at that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And our the natural gas lines, they don't run at that kind of pressure. And I agree with you. You can't compare one instance to another, because if you were to compare natural gas to anhydrous ammonia, there's people who say, well, anhydrous ammonia is not that, that's dangerous, but then you see people go up to that and just cover their mouth and go shut a valve. Well, I've seen some really nasty stuff with anhydrous ammonia, so you have to
But
take
we
everything.
don't have that running on our ground either.
No, you don't. And but that's what I mean. Like, I want to take everything as dangerous as,
Right.
I want to take precautions for everything.
Right.
And that's where I think, with Summit, I'm not saying that their information is inaccurate. I'm sure for what the information they put into it, it probably was, but I don't think that it was necessarily the best information that was presented, because I don't think it was the
Don't
worst
call it
case.
a worst case scenario.
Right. I don't think it was
And it's
the worst case.
working under ideal conditions.
Correct. So that's where I think, I don't know if they're going to be open to letting us, and that's where I asked the question, if we were to have our own exercise and say, we're gonna make up the simulation, and are you gonna be able to make the program open for us to use? And they weren't able to say that. So I don't know if that's something we look at doing, knowing that if the pipeline does go through, we have access to it, or we have access to one that we share with another county, or what that looks like.
I will say Jack Willingham said up there too, he said, don't get all hung up on the modeling. Because he said, the day it happens,
Yeah.
it all comes down to your temperature, your outside temperature. The colder it gets, the more it hangs close to the ground, and your wind direction. Because he said, if you had a rupture, even as bad as that theirs was, and theirs ran for hours, he said, Steve, I wouldn't have a problem standing 50 feet from that on the upside of the wind.
Right.
Now downside, there's one over 1.75 miles. And I kept talking about that last night, and they didn't want to talk about that at all.
Yeah.
So, the thing that turned me off the most last night, to be truthful with you, was when I asked them, do you use modeling, your modeling that you have for routing this pipeline? Because it makes more sense to me to be proactive and use that modeling and route that pipeline to get away from as most people as you can. But we're using it in a reactive approach for emergency management. Now we're gonna move everybody out of the way or shelter in place, which is a whole nother issue. And they said, oh yeah, parts of it, yeah, we do that. I'm sorry, that was a lie. Because Tim Whipple asked up at the Iowa Utility Board, he asked their safety guy, do you use modeling for your routing? And they said, no.
Yeah.
So, as you see, I'm really frustrated with that, and I feel they didn't relieve any of the concerns that I have, and I feel for their people are going to be in Ames if an event like that happens here. By the time they get here, these guys of our emergency response and our volunteers are going to already have to have made decisions and did what they need to do for something they brought in here. We didn't ask for this. So I'll get off my soapbox, but I was so disappointed last night. I won't go to another one of those meetings, as you could tell. Now, if you weren't educated on this subject and you went there, you would come walking away from there feeling pretty good. Man, this is the safest thing out there. It's better than laughing gas and whatever. But, correct?
No, and that's where I think their information that they showed, it didn't do justice to potentially, the actual, what could be the worst case scenario. So that's why I think, again, I want to see if it's possible to invest in something that we can do some more accurate testing on and see what it would do, especially for early. Because I want, after talking with them, they're targeting for 2026. So we do have some time, but not a lot of time, especially if you're looking at potentially evacuating or dealing with a town of 300 people if there was an event up there. That's a lot of people for Shelby County to have to manage with volunteers. So,
especially if they would just move it a mile or two away.
Right. So I want to be proactive as possible. So just seeing if there's doing everything we can to try to be as proactive as possible.
Yeah, I know you are. Believe me, don't take it personal. I'm glad you guys were there and everything. You guys have some great questions. Continue to do that. Don't take what they tell you as gospel.
No, we will always take in their information, but it's just like everything. You take everything, just add it to the list and try to find the truth in it. So.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Alex. Todd Bleen, Shelby County Chamber Report.
How are you, Todd? Doing well. Loving this weather that we're having right now.
Yeah.
It's getting folks out and shopping and dining and doing all the things that we want them to do around the
Get
county.
your lawnmower ready and snowboard put away.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
I know.
But I'm with you. I'm not quite putting that away yet. A few items. We are currently taking nominations for the 2023 Shelby County Citizen of the Year from the public. So that is open to the general public to make those nominations. The individual being nominated just has to be a Shelby County resident and have shown, excellence in service and volunteerism to the Shelby County community. We ask that folks, if they have somebody they want to nominate, they can just type up a couple of paragraphs about who, why that person should be considered. They can either mail it to us at 1901 Hawkeye Avenue here in Harlan. They can email it to us at info@exploreshelbycounty.com, or just drop it by the office. We're asking that they get those to us by this Friday. That way we have time to review the nominations prior to, because we still need to make a selection and then we have to order the award. So we have, because the award will be given March 15th at our chamber banquet. Same going on this week amongst the chamber businesses is they'll be voting for Business of the Year, New Business of the Year, and Nonprofit of the Year. And then the same thing, we'll take those votes, take the winners, and order the awards and be able to get those out on the 15th. Another event coming up is the Shelby County Conservation Board on Saturday, March 23rd from 8 to 12. They're going to have an actual Hunter's Education online field day.
Oh, cool.
And it's going to be at Nishna Bend. Anyone who's born after January 1st, 1972 must complete a hunter safety education course to get a license. And there's a couple of steps to it. First, they need to go to iowadnr.gov, and there's a program in there where they can actually register for the field day. And then they can also take an online course that kind of it's like the start of getting your work done, and you need to bring that online completion voucher to the field day when you come. And if there's any questions there, they can call 744-3403, but it's cool that they have this offered up, and plenty of time yet, March 23rd, plenty of time to get ready for it. So then we have another kind of fun thing with, was happy the libraries were here today, because we've got a thing coming up on February 29th at the Harlan Community Library. It'll be from 6 to 7. But there's an author, Darcy Doherty. She's going to be there to talk about her book and also have her book available. She has done a big book on Iowa's lost history of the Titanic. So it's not something you think of, Iowans involved with the Titanic, but it's a fantastic book, and it's really kind of just a cool idea. I mean, the Titanic itself is just something everybody is interested in, and then to find out how Iowa is tied to it. And then last, on March 23rd, that's a Saturday, it's going to start at 4:30. It's going to be at the St. Boniface Parish Hall in Westphalia, but they're going to be celebrating the Shelby County Golf Course's 45th anniversary. So they're going to have a kickoff celebration. They're going to have
When is that again?
it's going to be on March 23rd, and it's going to be at the St. Boniface Parish Hall. They're going to have a meal at 6 and then an auction at 7:30. Meal tickets are $20, and raffle tickets can also be purchased at the door. But it's kind of cool, 45-year celebration of the Roseman Glendale Golf Course. So we'll help them raise a little bit of money, and they'll use that money that they raise to upgrade some of the walls around the course. So that's what's going on.
45 years, and I'm not any better at golfing than I started.
There we go. There we go.
They do a good job running them up there.
They do.
Yeah.
They do, and
Course nice.
it's great to have the course available to us. Have it, and it gets a lot of play.
Yep.
It really does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right.
appreciate all your efforts.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd. Secondary roads report, Chris.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you this fine day?
I'm good.
How about you? Fire frogs here.
That's good. Keep it that way.
I think ever since you took over, we haven't really had much snow.
Yeah.
Don't bank on that forever. I don't think I have that much pull. Just a couple of quick things, since it has been a little more quiet lately. We are out doing a little blading to the rock roads we started last week. Just very lightly. We don't know what the spring's going to bring yet.
Yep.
The weather's could play a big trick on us yet, so just trying to touch up a few things, bring a little rock to the middle in case we do get liquid moisture. Hopefully that'll work itself back down, so. Out working on that. Been in contact with Defiance on that lot again. We're still progressing through that, so Marcus, you and I will, if I can get a hold of you sometime or see what we can do there and try and get it
What else
hammered
needs to
out.
be done?
Just the paperwork or whatever we actually need to do to transfer it.
Yeah, the
so.
city will have to have a public hearing on it before they transfer it.
Okay, yeah, just so,
Maybe
so
you
we
could
get
give them a
it.
little direction so you could let them know that or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I've been in contact
Okay.
with them.
Cool,
Okay.
that's great, just so we get everything how it needs to be and everything is satisfactory. Today we are gonna start stockpiling just a little more road rock in. Again, we don't know how the spring is going to be, so
Okay.
haul a little bit in, dress up a few of the piles just to get a little more in and.
We're hauling a
See
little
where
out to
we
the
go.
areas that need it.
We did prior to last week, since we started that light blading, we really haven't been hauling a lot. Just the same reason, if it snows and it doesn't get worked in, we'll blade it all off, so. We tried to hit the worst spots we
Right.
had.
Yeah, 'cause there's
We, get a little more moisture and can see them again where they're going to be, then we'll hit them again, so.
Okay.
Other than that, that's,
When will Dennison start hauling in earlier with the weather being like this or having?
for the rail.
Or for the rail?
We did talk about it, as long as he's free up there to get train cars in, we just have to get in the schedule.
Okay,
So I think it may be kind of in with hauling this, we might haul a few loads in up there and stockpile them up north too.
Yep.
Just to fill up a little more, we do have bigger piles up towards Urban, so
Okay.
just see how the spring goes.
okay.
How's your search for an assistant?
Right.
going?
It's still in search
Still
mode.
ongoing, okay.
Yeah, so I was hoping I'd have something more beneficial for today to tell you guys.
Yeah, I was hoping by the end of the month to get somebody hired.
So, still on the search, so
Okay,
that's how it goes.
okay,
Yep,
Anything else?
no,
nope, thanks.
thanks, Chris.
You bet, thank you.
Next on the agenda is the publication of county employees' wages that we do every year. Really isn't much more to that, and you got the whole list there, and you'll be
Yeah,
publishing
there's
them.
approximately 136 people, and that includes part-timers.
Yeah,
Anybody
seasonal.
who, yeah, seasonal, the election workers, part-time election workers, somebody who mowed for one day is on there, I'm just making that up, but
Right,
so everybody's on there. Otherwise, the county runs at about, I think it's 80-some full-time.
no, it's 97.
97.
I just had them check last week,
Okay, there you go.
97 full-time employees.
Really? Wow.
Yep,
We're getting there.
yep, that includes elected officials and everybody, but
Yep.
for the full-time. Yep. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the publication?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Second on the agenda, or the next on the agenda, authorize auditors to sign health insurance documents for 2024, 5.
All that is a pile of documents that ask for a signature. Just all the health agreements. There's one for the dental plan, one for the vision plan,
Yeah, we did this in the
all
past.
the administration
Yep.
stuff. And just asking for your permission to sign those.
Yep. Have a motion to approve.
Motion?
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next on the agenda is approval of early retirement application. We're approving these as they come in up till March 20th. We have one now that met all the qualifications, Mark.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
All the documents would be
I mean,
available.
it's public knowledge. Rich Hastard from Secondary Roads submitted his application. Everything, I know I looked at it Friday, everything was there, the letter, all the requirements that he has. And April 20th, is it 20th or the 20th?
45 days from the day it was put into effect, right?
Yeah, it ends, I think April 20th. I don't have it in front of me,
I don't
but
either.
around that time.
Sorry.
So, you guys have any other questions?
No?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve Rich's early retirement application?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
You're correct, it is the 20th.
20th.
I did some quick math.
Okay.
How long do they have to apply yet?
March 20th.
March 20th.
To apply, and
March
then,
20th.
then they have to be retired from the county by April 20th. Okay. With that, anybody else have anything else? See any discussion? Okay, I'm not adjourning, I'm recessing, because hopefully we're gonna have one of our last budget workshops and get things finalized here close to it. Thanks, everybody.